Thought Crimes.
A landmark federal antitrust trial against Ticketmaster parent company Live Nation got underway this week with the first witness testifying today. The Justice Department, multiple state attorneys general, and Washington, D.C. in 2024 initially filed the suit against Ticketmaster and Live Nation. It alleges they've illegally dominated the live concert industry by monopolizing tickets, bookings, venues, and promotions.
This morning, the way fans buy tickets for concerts could be changing forever as a jury in New York finds Live Nation acted as an illegal monopoly. Dozens of states sued Live Nation and its subsidiary Ticketmaster, claiming they illegally dominated major concert venues and kept ticket prices too high.
Breaking news, a verdict has been reached in the antitrust trial against entertainment giant Live Nation. A jury found Live Nation unfairly created a monopoly over the ticket market.
Live Nation owns Ticketmaster. So any global tours, Ticketmaster's, and like if you're buying tickets from Ticketmaster, you're paying Live Nation. And Rock Nation, Live Nation, same thing. Live Nation owns all these subsidiaries, so it's Live Nation Entertainment. So I was hoping an artist might speak out. I wasn't thinking they would, but I figured I would take a shot at it, you know? But I respect them for not speaking out. I get why they don't, you know? It ruins their career, and, they want to perform for their fans, but their fans are getting ripped off. And on the side, I will tell you, though, some of the artists do reach out to me. And some of them, I won't name them because I never do that. And as I say, anybody reaches out to me with anything, it's confidential, and that's how it works.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to Thought Crimes. This is your girl, Sincere, and I'm here with...
Yo, this is your man, Prince Solomon, in the building, folks. And right now, we have a special guest. We're going to be talking to Tommy Dorfman. He's been going back and forth battling Live Nation. And he's also going to be breaking down how he's been able to have to deal with this situation. What does this mean for artists and all the ins and outs? And basically, it's a mafia. Matter of fact, it's larger than the mafia. It's 2 sets of books and everything of that nature.
It's a cartel.
It's a cartel.
And you're about to hear Tommy break down his life, his background, and we get into all the background information on what's taking place. And also, please, make sure you show Tommy support because he is going up against a giant.
I was living on my own when I was 16 years old. And to survive, I threw underage house parties, packed out my houses, people paying for kegs of beer to get in, and that's how I paid my rent and how I lived. I brought a ton of people to New York City clubs, like back in the day, legendary ones like the Tunnel, the Limelight, and then all of a sudden I got paid for a promoter was like, hey, do you want to get paid like $1 a head to bring people here? And that started my career. Then I realized I could build the club empire. Well, I wanted to. I worked really hard, packed out my first party, and then over years, for 15 years with me and my team, we ran pretty much with a lot of failures and then a lot of hard work. We ran almost every major club up and down New Jersey, New York, down to Miami. Did almost every major celebrity, won a ton of awards. We had a ton of success. Got to the top that I could reach, the plateau in the business. I couldn't get any bigger unless I got into the festival business. And I was, my background was house music, which became EDM. And this was peaking right around 2010. I saw that this was going to be the next blow up, like when rock and roll blew up and when hip hop blew up. So I signed a 10-year contract with the State Fair Meadowlands. It's the largest state fair in the East Coast, home to the Jets and the Giants, the stadium, if anybody's not familiar with from the area, New York and New Jersey. Brand new $2 billion stadium, a 10-year contract to produce all exclusive concerts for 10 years and festivals. I was doing an EDM festival to 100,000 people, and then Live Nation, everything was going great. Festival was happening. Live Nation Entertainment found out about it and wiped me out, and that's why we're here.
Oh, okay, so just in general, so you was getting things started, and talk about like for you as a DJ, just moving about, because I've spoken to different DJs over the years, and they talked about what it was like to have larger venues get shut down. And I know, let's say like for this era, maybe if we can go back to like 2015, 16, 17, 18, maybe when people felt like, oh, I'm getting a bunch of tickets, or a bunch of concerts and things of that nature, or we kind of see like this McDonaldification of concerts, for us on the other end, Tommy, it just looks like, man, wow, I guess they kind of getting their shit together. You get what I'm saying? Right? But for guys like you on the other end, it's like, no, they're taking my shit. You get what I'm saying? Can you break down that process and like that disconnect, maybe concert goers up until now when people are finding out concert tickets are $3,000, but around that time, can you break down that disconnect of, how the cow and the sausage is getting slaughtered and made? What is it that you were seeing in live time, real time, while everybody was thinking like, man, I'm getting all these great prices on these tickets?
Yeah, so the ticket prices were affordable back then in 2010. What happened was Live Nation and Ticketmaster merged right at this time. And the ticket prices then ended up going through the roof. And this is where this monopoly was, what I call it a mafia, was created. And I was like one of the first victims of this Live Nation Ticketmaster merger. When this was passed by the Congress and the Senate, I was wiped out of my contract by them breaking what they promised to the Senate not to do within 2 months. And after that, Live Nation has taken over the whole over the years, taken over the whole entire industry, bought up every independent promoter. They control every single major tour across the whole entire world. They control almost every stadium, even independent stadiums. They're like, oh, this is independent. No, Live Nation controls 99% of them. And this is why they run an illegal kickback scheme where ticket prices are now through the roof, as everybody knows, unfortunately. And I was kind of like one of the first people dealing with this, but there's, the fans are victims every single day, and things need to change.
So, all right. So like, how does that work? Let's say a guy like yourself, make you move around, and as this merger's taking place, because we've kind of seen it, break off into different chains with record labels and things of that nature. What exactly happens for a DJ, a small time artist? How does that really eat into their pockets? Because, again, reason why, we like talking to you, I want people to understand, like, man, what exactly is going on, because people hear Live Nation, they hear Rock Nation, they you know what I'm saying? So they kind of merge everything together, but what does that do to the average local that wants to be a DJ or producer, or they say, I just want to sing at local venues? Because you spoke about the independent venues. You said that they pretty much own the independent venues, and that could be confusing for fans, because maybe they say, like, I don't want to support the Death Star, I'm going to the independent venue. But what you saying, Tommy, is that no, man, they got them too.
Oh yeah, that's a great point. People who may think they're still independent, but not knowing they're right under Live Nation.
Yeah, so it's to answer that, multiple questions there, but yeah, it's very tough for up and coming artists, DJ. Like, I was a huge promoter. I developed tons of DJs, done tons of artists. It's really hard. And it's really hard because there's no independent promoters anymore. They've acquired them or own them all. So artist development's got killed for that as well. There used to be, back in the day, we were developing artists all the time. There's so much talent that's just wasted out there because of this mafia. And it's made it just really hard for growth in the industry. Now, going back to the question on the venues, well, Live Nation owns Ticketmaster. So any global tours, Ticketmasters, and like, if you're buying tickets from Ticketmaster, you're paying Live Nation. Now, also, there's venues out there. They'll call it an independent venue. I have information for like the Barclays Center in New York City. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. They literally, it's a state-funded venue. You would think you weren't supporting Live Nation if there was another promoter putting on a show. When another promoter's putting on a show, there's tickets are through Ticketmaster, and Live Nation also is getting kickbacks, $3 a head in their pocket from the other promoter doing the work when they're doing nothing. So it's very hard to tell who's independent and who's not. I recommend people supporting smaller independent promoters, smaller independent places. But you have to really do your research, because it's hard to tell. No one would know you're going to an independent promoter show. Hey, maybe I'm paying Ticketmaster one wing of their business. You don't think you're actually putting money in their CEO's pocket for not even being there when they didn't even produce the show. So it is tricky, like you said. And Rock Nation, Live Nation, same thing. Live Nation owns all these subsidiaries, so it's Live Nation Entertainment.
I want to also dive deep into your tweet that you did on April 26th when you said it's not just also what we saw with the over 40 states that did the lawsuit. You said it goes even deeper into a mafia. You said there's financial fraud, racketeering, and so many other things that's happening behind the scenes that people aren't talking about. Can you go further into that?
Yeah, absolutely. So Live Nation does run a criminal enterprise, and I'll prove it at trial. NBC, I don't know if you had read that, they came out with investigative journalism by the Pulitzer Prize winning journalist Gretchen Morgensen. And through Live Nation's internal documents, it showed a show, and you're talking about how it hurts the artist or a DJ. It showed a cast of shows. I don't know how many, probably in the hundreds. And Live Nation has 2 sets of books. And for the one set of books that the artist got and the independent promoter got, for those shows, they lost $1.5 million. For Live Nation's set of books, which is illegal kickbacks to them from the venues and the vendors, for raising the prices of cost of goods, Live Nation's books were $15 million profit. This goes on throughout the whole entire nation. It's a scheme. In Live Nation's own internal documents, they call it a scheme. And I think any of your viewers or listeners know what a scheme is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I got you. Yeah. It says here that as far as the market power goes, that Ticketmaster holds exclusive contracts of 53 out of the 68 top U.S. arenas. And the fact that you said that they had this like it's kind of like this ghetto wedding between the two. Yeah, because I've been following your story. Cindy's been following your story as well, and it seems to me, I'm gonna be honest, it seems like a very polished, raggedy organization. It seems like something just like it's people walking, like even when you bring up the idea of like Michael Rapino, and I've seen some of his talking points in his conversations. It looks uncouth. It sounds uncouth, and I know to the concert goers, they're just thinking it's business as usual. I'm going into McDonald's. I don't know that they're breaking somebody's hands in the back of the casino or something like that. But for you, on the personal end, like, what has it been like to deal with a conglomerate like this? These like this kind of corporate cabals and things of that nature. Has it really like affected your daily life? Or have you been able to network the same way, or what is it? Or they're like, Tommy, I'll get back at you. Is it that type of energy that you kind of receive, as you continue to make your strides within the industry, or at least adjacent to it?
Yeah. So within the industry, I was wiped out. They defamed me, bashed me, destroyed my reputation in the whole entire industry in 2011. They wiped him out of the industry, blacklisted me. So I then picked up a lawsuit. I, had to get on my feet. I ended up going homeless from this stuff. And then I went and filed a lawsuit against them. And I've been suing them and fighting them for 16 years. 16 years and dealing with their lawyers and dealing with them. It's literally like I dealt with the Mafia in New Jersey, as just mentioned. And it's literally worse than dealing with the Mafia. 16 years they've been able to delay a case when I have all the evidence, their executives on tape recording, 500 plus exhibits, tons of witnesses. They have not one witness and not one exhibit. And they've been able, through their power, Mafia power, to delay a federal case for 16 something years. So it's been a battle. It's been a challenge. And then, for me, it was an economic dispute at first. I just wanted my money. I was looking on the EDM side, $100 million for this 10 years, just on that one show, not even my hip hop shows or anything else I was putting in place. So I wanted my money back. I wanted my career back. But over time, all the information I've obtained between the multiple sets of books, the legal kickbacks, and this big scheme and racket they run, seeing how fans get ripped off, seeing how they kill the whole independent promoters, the whole development of artists. Now I take it and fight it, and I'm taking it to a trial to try to bring real change and shut down this criminal enterprise. And it's been a challenge because it's when you're going against, I have one attorney, Andrew Smith, great guy, great lawyer, really good. But I'm going against 2,000 lawyers. 2,000 paralegals from them. They have a person that their lawyers have told me they have 3 people that just watch my social medias at full-time jobs. So, resources, it's just kind of, it's me versus them. So it affects my day. I lost everything. So I ended up going selling cable door to door, built a business doing so. That's what got good at it quick, because that's what funded this litigation for 16 years. But it takes time away, because I'm trying to do something for the greater good and for real change, not just breaking up a monopoly. I want to break up a criminal enterprise, which I'm going to. So it takes a lot of time, and that's for sure. Sometimes it's a struggle.
Has Rapino or anybody that's involved with Live Nation threatened your life at any point?
Rapino hasn't threatened me. I've had some threats, you can say, that have come in there, but it's all right. They did. Live Nation did try to bribe my one assistant that works for me in recent years after a court-ordered mediation, which, wow, was like the 15th one that I didn't even want to have, because I don't want their money and I just want a jury date. I can't speak about mediation, but this part I can. In the mediation, the word Netflix got brought up. I never spoke to Netflix. We never even talked about it. But Live Nation was really scared about, I guess, me dealing with Netflix, because Netflix can shut down criminal enterprises, I guess, if you watch the stuff out there. Within a few days after the mediation, I know it wasn't the judge. The only other people there was Live Nation. They're trying to bribe my assistant for information on Netflix, what publications, media outlets I was speaking with, and confidential information I had. I was lucky that she stayed real and didn't take a payout, But on that sense, it kind of is what it is,
I also saw you, Tommy, trying to encourage other artists that may be scared to come out, or even just privately send you information if they know that their fan bases are being ripped off, if they're not getting their fair share. Some articles have come out even with unsafe practices, even for artists, performing live, and certain equipment isn't correct. You want to go into that as well?
Yeah, so I did call. Listen, I respect the artists for staying silent. I will just say this, I do. Because look, I came from nothing. I built my career as a promoter and got to the top. It's a lot of work. And for an artist, it's the same thing. Most of them aren't spoon-fed. They usually work their ass off. And you know what their dream is? Sell out these stadiums and bring music for their, not just money, but bring music for their fans, And you'll be blacklisted. I was blacklisted. Look at Pearl Jam in the 90s. They just went after Ticketmaster for ripping off their fans, and they were blacklisted, and they were pretty big. So the artists are scared. They're scared and they're fearful of speaking, and I don't blame them. In recent times, when there was things in the NBC investigation where Live Nation executives saying they were going to squeeze acts into submission, using their market power and force them to play at places, I was like, all right, wow, squeeze acts into submission. All right, can we at least get an artist to comment on that, Because I don't know what's going on in Michael Rapino's mansion. It just don't sound good,
No, right? It sounds like,
I don't know, it sounds some funky shit, but it ain't cool. So I was like, I thought maybe someone would just come out and be like, hey, I support Live Nation because you have to, because no show for you.
Right.
But I don't want to be squeezed into submission.
Yeah,
and
come on.
And I just thought it's just getting so bad, and it's just so bad what they're doing. This is way beyond the DOJ, well, they caved, but it's way beyond the trial that they were found guilty of being a monopoly. It's just they're guilty of being. Prove they're guilty of being a mafia and a criminal enterprise and running a racket. So I was hoping an artist would come out and speak up, kind of like Nicki Minaj had done in the past. Against Live Nation. She had put something about racketeering or money laundering. It's a lot of information. I have all those information. I have all their books of it. So I was hoping an artist might speak out. I wasn't thinking they would, but I figured I would take a shot at it, But I respect them for not speaking out. I get why they don't, It ruins their career, and, they want to perform for their fans, but their fans are getting ripped off. And on the side, I will tell you, though, some of the artists do reach out to me. And some of them, I won't name them because I never do that. And as I say, anybody reaches out to me with anything, it's confidential, and that's how I work. It's how I am. I keep it real. And these artists, they thank me, and they feel hostage, and they are. And same with most independent promoters aren't really there anymore. Unless they're small. Most of the big ones, Live Nation's bought out, or they do one show a year. So from when they used to do 200. So, but they reach out too, and like, hey, we support you, but we, can't speak up. And I was like, I got you, man. I get it. You don't want to end up like me. I wouldn't either. I don't want you to either. So that's why people can't speak. And if you look at something like that, that's way more powerful than a mafia. A mafia can get one store owner that they hold hostage with protection money, like Live Nation does, to stay quiet. But through every single city, through the whole entire world, you can hold them with the words, "We're gonna squeeze them into submission." Can you imagine in another industry, like even if it was just like Amazon or something, another monopoly, and they came out and they said, "We're gonna squeeze our workers into submission." Don't you think it'd be a headline? Like, people, I think all the workers would walk out of the store, say, all the stores, stop working for them, and be like, "Hey, you either pay me a lot more money, apologize, because this shit's just messed up." And that's it. But you notice that's sort of NBC, and there was just be quiet.
That is a wild statement.
Not one entertainment reporter covered that either.
That's crazy.
And you know why? No story for you, because as you broke down how many things Ticketmaster, Live Nation own, they run the whole thing. If you are saying like an artist, you speak up against them, no concert for you. Well, I'm not saying all reporters, but if someone were to come out and say a lot of things, well, if you don't get information for what's going on behind the scenes, it's the Live Nation entertainment industry. Let's be realistic. There's no entertainment industry anymore. You don't get information, no job for you, So it's a tough thing. It's just pure power.
Were you surprised with someone who's as mainstream and global as Nicki Minaj with so much to lose that she came out against such a conglomerate and giant like Live Nation?
Yeah, when she did it in the past, I mad respect for her, because when she came out, most wouldn't. And I was a little surprised, but when it did happen, I was really, really impressed. Much respect for her. But what happens is when one artist comes out, do you ever people usually roll together. Another artist comes out, wants to speak up, back them up, Yeah. Nobody comes and backs her up. Like this guy from this band, I know, I'm not into it, but it's like The Cure. This guy Robert something, he came out and was complaining about the ticket prices. You know what happened? Not one artist backed him up either. So then you're on it on your own, and you're gonna be like Pearl Jam in the 90s, not able to play and perform in stadiums anymore. Because when they did this to Pearl Jam, it was only Ticketmaster.
All the members of Pearl Jam remember what it's like to be young and not have a lot of money. Many Pearl Jam fans are teenagers who do not have the money to pay $30 or more that it's often charged for tickets today. It is well known in our industry that some portion of the service charges Ticketmaster collects on its sale of tickets is distributed back to the promoters in the venues. It is this incestuous relationship and the lack of any national competition for Ticketmaster that has created the situation we're dealing with today. As a result, our band, which is concerned about keeping the price of its tickets low, will almost always be in conflict with Ticketmaster, which has every incentive to try to find ways to increase the price of the ticket it sells.
Have you heard from other performers on this issue? Are there other bands who are concerned about this? And if so, or individual performers, could you share that with us?
I think mainly Kelly Curtis, our manager, has been talking to a lot of different people. I know we've gotten a lot of support from Aerosmith and Grateful Dead and Garth Brooks and R.E.M., Neil Young.
Last week, I was with Aerosmith in Italy, where the band is currently on tour. We were talking about Ticketmaster and how it relates to our concert business. Steven Tyler, Aerosmith's lead singer, said to me, "Mussolini may have made the trains run on time, but not everyone could get a seat on that train." That's the problem that Aerosmith and I have with Ticketmaster. Yes, they have an efficient and profitable system, but its monopolistic aspects are unfair and hurtful.
Various promoters went to the group and spoke. We had no direct contact with them, and told them that we would compromise in this area and that we would lower the service charge to $2.25 or $2.50 depending on the area. And the fact is that if the word compromise had been used, which is something that this great institution is built on, that's what Congress is built on, that's the way legislatures make things work, is by compromise, this problem might not have arisen to the level that it's on today. The fact of the matter is, both in band statements and in their memo that they submitted to Justice, they said, this was it, take it or leave it, and that caused some of the problem.
A few days before Thursday's House hearing, Ticketmaster was cleared of monopoly charges by a New York judge in one of several class action suits filed by irate consumers around the country. Meanwhile, the Justice Department continues its investigation.
Now over all these years, now they don't just control this United States. They're buying promoters every day for like $250 million across the whole entire nation, world. So you can't put on a global tour without them. So an artist like her or any, if you were to go up to against them toe to toe and they block all your shows, where are you going to perform? I called on that tweet. I think I said I called for someone to speak out. I was like, listen, I think fans will drive an extra 100 miles and go to a farm, pay more money just because there's no infrastructure to support you for, coming out and speaking. Because I think fans are so pissed and so fed up at this that they would, but I get it with the artists and I respect it.
No, okay. So no, that's a great point. Even the singer from The Cure, Pearl Jam, which is still a wild statement. Then you have Nicki Minaj, and to your point, you don't see like a bunch of artists supporting any artist that like what we might have used to see in the late 90s or the early 2000s at the very least. You said something in passing that was interesting. You said there is no entertainment industry anymore. You said there's Live Nation. Can you break that down? Because again, I want our listeners to understand from your perspective, from you being an insider, what goes on and what has disrupted or how disrupted the entertainment industry is when you bring up Ticketmaster and Live Nation and what we're seeing just even on the back end with labels and AI. But you said that there isn't an entertainment industry, that there's just Live Nation right now. Can you break that down?
Yeah, so when Live Nation and Ticketmaster merged in late 2010, after that, Live Nation went on a super buying spree. They bought up almost every independent promoter across the nation, every major one at least. So they control almost all the independent. You might see a promoter and like you're looking at like Electric Daisy Carnival. Oh wow, I go to Electric Daisy. I'm not in Live Nation. Live Nation owns them. This is in almost every single genre of music, as you just talked about, Rock Nation, Live Nation. So they've owned so many of the promoters, and this is on a worldwide scale. Then there is no global tour in the whole entire world that you do not have to use Live Nation or Ticketmaster. Global major tour in the world. So no artist can put on a global tour worldwide without Live Nation or Ticketmaster. So they've bought, you see on the DOJ trial, they bought all these amphitheaters. They own them, but it's not just the one thing that the DOJ and the states missed. It's not just what they own, it's what they control. So when the independent venues out there, they control these venues, telling them, hey, if you do not give us illegal kickbacks and pay us money for us to be able, when we're not even putting a show on, for another promoter to put it on, we're gonna skip your whole entire venue. So they control the whole, to break it simple, they control almost every major venue in the whole entire US. They control almost every major promoter. Like who is there? There's AEG. Like they laugh at AEG through information from NBC that came out all the way back in 2011 when there was a DJ Avicii, Afrojack, they were breaking, and they literally laughed and they said, like what a bitch. They were signing with AEG. They don't have the market share. We're going directly to their managers and we're going to take them. They took them. So there's nobody has any power. It's just them. So that's why I said they control the whole entire industry, because they do. And it's just, and when one like company or one mafia controls a whole entire country of music and entertainment, they can do whatever they want. That's why they run a criminal enterprise. They can get away with all these back end illegal, shady dealings, moving money all over the place, illegal kickbacks, 2 sets of books, accounting fraud, misappropriation of taxpayer dollars. This is what you can get away with when you control a whole entire industry and you spend a lot of money on lobbyists through all our politicians.
Man, so yeah, even when you bring up Ticketmaster and then you bring up Live Nation, it's like
it's the same thing.
Yeah, it's the same. It's Darth Vader marrying Doom, right? That's what it is. Okay, and then you know, I was doing some research, and you know, when they talk about the foundation is important, and in this situation, the idea that it launches out a Clear Channel. And I remember like some like Ice Cube records in 2005, 6, 7, 8, 9 when he was dissing Clear Channel all on his albums, and you had all types of artists, rock artists, all types of people that were rappers was talking about Clear Channel, and to some degree you kind of saw that role being played out in like even with 96, 97, because I do understand that Tupac and Bon Jovi, there's like two of your favorite artists, but you do see like within that space, Clear Channel having a huge effect, and the idea we kind of like dealing with its child, Live Nation. I think that's very interesting on top of that, because people said that Clear Channel was a mafia. People were saying back then like this was illegal. This is a conglomerate of that nature.
Yeah, you're right on the money. It is the baby of Clear Channel. And you know what Clear Channel got shut down for? Being a monopoly. So history's repeating itself, except Live Nation is way more powerful than Clear Channel, because with owning Ticketmaster and all the money they've funneled illegally through all the years, they've been able to acquire almost every major promoter through almost every major industry, every major stadium, or at least control every single one and every major artist. So it's Clear Channel was bad, and you're right, it was evil. And Live Nation was the baby, and the baby came out a lot worse than the parent.
They say Rapino comes out of serving through Clear Channel and he rolls into Live Nation. So it's kind of like, to your point, he kind of like got a golden pinky ring or something like that. That's what it looked like to me. I was like, man, this guy moves around a lot.
Yeah, that's what he did, and he came in and he created this criminal enterprise, and he's funneled this. This isn't just like running from him, this racket. It comes from the top from him, but this is through the whole organization, this mafia organization. They survive off threats, fear, intimidation. That's how they continue their business. You know, it's just literally like just gangsters in suits. It's not much difference, but yeah, it's a criminal enterprise. He started it, he's built it, and now he's got a lot of people doing the grimy, dirty work that he does every day, destroying artists' careers, destroying promoters, and ripping off fans every day. And he wants more. And you know, he came out on live TV and said, I want to raise ticket prices last year with the DOJ trial, with me calling them criminals, which they are, with other cases. And who comes out on live TV? Who's the balls to come on live TV and say, let's raise ticket prices? Like, the mob would never do that. And go to a stadium. I dared him like 10 times. Go to any stadium anywhere. Get on MetLife Stadium and say, let's raise ticket prices. Like, it's not going to work out good for you, you know? And sports fans get ripped off by this every day too. This affects everybody in the whole entire entertainment industry.
That is a good point, because even though, you know, we've heard artists like, you know, like seeing brought up with Nicki Minaj, and you say you had, you know, artists behind the scenes reach out to you, people do not factor in sports, you know, and that plays a giant role. And even the idea that they said they want to expand on top of that, and then we kind of have like this weird, they kind of got this weird fling with the Trump administration too on top of that. So yeah, it is pretty sizable.
And Live Nation, I think, also with the NFL, like, you know, they expand everywhere. And then even with what Tommy said about, even before we get to this merger, what Ticketmaster did to Pearl Jam, and Pearl Jam was a huge group. Yeah. You know, and even when they spoke out before, you know, it's like, it's
no show for you.
Right? And a lot of the fans will be confused because they think our favorite artists have a lot of power. You know, they think about how can somebody or bands or solo artists who are able to generate billions of dollars for a company, how is it that they don't have any say so? So a lot of times the fans do get confused about, you know, why aren't more artists speaking out? But as you clearly stated, a lot of people don't understand behind the scenes. A lot of dirty measures are done, and artists aren't invincible. You know, a lot of people try to do dirty stuff to artists, especially when you're talking about, you know, mafias.
Without a doubt, and it's run as a mafia. It's not a monopoly. You're absolutely right. And these artists speak out. They know what's going to happen. You know, look, you're telling me that if one artist wouldn't speak out that they didn't want to be squeezed into submission, I don't think they're very happy about that. Not one. So let's just say I think it speaks for itself. And you're absolutely right. There's a lot of the dirty stuff behind the scenes, and the power they have, they realize what's going to happen. And look what we said. We went back to it. We went from Pearl Jam. That was just Ticketmaster. They got blacklisted. You know, now Pearl Jam's not saying anything because they can't. They're like, wait, we don't want to do this again. You know, we want to put on shows. And when any artist speaks up, no one even comes out and speaks for that one. Even if it was meant in a good way or not, Kid Rock, when he was speaking up at the Senate hearings, he was actually saying, look, get into the contracts. That told the Senate, subpoena the contracts. You're going to find massive financial fraud, and people are going to go to jail. I have all those information and those multiple sets of books by Live Nation. It's Mafia. Who else has 2 sets of books? The Mob and Live Nation. And people will go to jail. But you know what? When he spoke out too, also there, I don't know his affiliations in that politically, but then he's been pretty quiet. But also, not one artist in the nation or in the world came out and said we support Kid Rock, saying they should subpoena these documents. And what he said, it shouldn't matter if the artists like each other or not, or political spectrum. This is a bipartisan thing. Everybody gets ripped off by this company. But for that, no one even spoke up and said, hey, we support what Kid Rock said. So there's not one time I can find where people have backed an artist when the artist has said anything. So, you know,
and
if you're an artist, that's just power.
And that's another surprising thing, because people would think, okay, Kid Rock has created a comfortable relationship with the Trump administration, that they would at least, you know, hear him out for what he has to say pertaining to Live Nation. And it's that powerful that they were even able to at first get this sweetheart deal by the Trump administration, the Department of Justice.
Yeah, well, exactly. And the guy that got the deal done, according to the Wall Street Journal, his name is Aaron Manuel. Show you intertwined power. He's the owner of the William Morris Agency. That's one of the largest talent agencies in the world. Just so you know, circling back to my case, Live Nation executives told me William Morris was their exclusive agency, and they were blocking all my talent from there. I had millions of dollars of offers in, and they did. And I have this on tape. And this is all the way back in 2011. This guy, Aaron Manuel, sat on the board of directors of Live Nation all the way up to 2022 to when the Biden DOJ put pressure and he had to step off the board. As the Wall Street Journal reported, he went into Capitol Hill, wherever you want to do it, and got Live Nation a pardon by the Department of Justice. Got him that sweetheart deal of 200-something million. And people are like, that's a lot of money. Listen, it is for regular people like me and you and your listeners. But for Live Nation, that's 4 days worth of revenue. It's not even a parking ticket. So, yeah, there's a lot of lobbying. There's a lot of power. And they have a lot of power. And, yeah, it's a shame.
Okay, yeah, I know who you're talking about. So you're talking about Ari Emanuel, brother to Rahm Emanuel as well.
The chief of staff of Obama when.
Yes, yeah. You know, I did read about that. You know, that they basically had to say, look, you need to step down, right? You have to step down. But we've actually seen that power nexus, and I think it's interesting. That's why I you know, all of this this compartmentalization of culture. If you're talking about it, what, you know, rockers are going through, the rappers are going through, the singers, the instrumentalists, jazz musicians are complaining about Live Nation, right?
It's destroying culture.
It is. That's a great way to put it. It's destroying culture, like it's just the enjoyment of it.
Destroying everything that people like about music, and then also what Tommy mentioned. I think during the Obama administration, Ticketmaster and Live Nation really was able to
make some
major grounds with their power moves.
Yeah, just like we're seeing some of the technocrats out of Silicon Valley right now. But it is interesting that you bring up the Emanuels because they kind of bleed into, especially Ari, we've seen situations or at least linkage to the Emanuel brothers of what they call like plants. Like when we're talking about talentless plants in the industry, like people like, yo man, where did Lil Pump and all these guys come from? But to your point, the same energy that kind of runs that racket space is also kind of churning out some of these like dim-witted artists that people kind of like, where did this guy come from? But if it's just a Ponzi scheme, you know, and I'm not really looking to look at this artist as a human, of course I'll make some sort of plant and then throw them out there and then rip them off through the ticket sales, do the 360 deals too as well, because that kind of tied into all of this as well, where record labels and the entertainment industry was like, we wanted more pieces of an artist, even down to their venues and ticket sales, because we've seen people have complaints about
It's
that.
the relationship with the U.S. government, because when you have a relationship with the U.S. government, you always too big to fail.
Yeah.
So even though technically there have been consequences because they've been disrespecting legacy acts and acts that do generate a lot of money, but at the same time they feel like they can make those gambles because, I mean, the U.S. government is on their side, you know? Tommy, has it been really difficult for you to explain this to the general public?
I wouldn't say so, only just when we get into some of the financial fraud and the multiple sets of books. Now it's getting simple. I just explain it really simple. Negative 1.5 million for the artists and the independent promoters, 15 million for Live Nation. Same show, same expenses, 2 books. So I think that breaks it down. I'll just break it down a little bit more simple. I'll tell you one thing that came out. I don't know if you guys saw in the Department of Justice, or I call it the state AGs. Thank you for them continuing and getting that verdict of guilty, guilty, guilty. At Live Nation owned and operated venues, it's in Live Nation's own internal documents. Didn't come out in the trial, but the document did, and I brought it to public attention. The artists are not allowed to question an expense. So the show's over, you get a towel expense for $500,000, you name it, whatever price, for anything. It's in their paperwork. They cannot question any expenses. So Live Nation can just charge any amount they want, and you just have to take it and listen to the man. And that's, to me, that kind of surprised me a little bit how powerful that was. Like, can you think of any business, your business partners, think about it. Like, you're an artist, you're business partners with Live Nation, an event. Think of any business anywhere, like you're doing construction, anything. And you literally with your business partner, and they just tell you, you have to pay this, and you can't ask like, hey, can I see a receipt? can we talk? This seems like way high. Am I allowed to? They're not allowed to even ask, that's just, I think that speaks for itself.
So that means artists can be losing money even with going on tour. Then if they could come up with any expense and they can't question it.
That's crazy. You can't do that in a marriage. That's too much.
Yeah, you can't. Good luck in a marriage. Yeah, so the artists lose the money a lot of times. People don't realize that. And how this is Live Nation through that rebate kickback schemes, just kickbacks. They take money from venues, inflate the cost of the expenses, pass it into the artist's pocket, and they don't get those expenses. They're just getting the money. So when you can just fudge the numbers, fudge the books, they decide what artist survives, what artist dies. Look how many artists that are have said dude, I've sold out all these shows. I remember John Bellin came out and he was like, dude, I was packing out all these stadiums and I just owed more money. And everybody thought I was rich. So yeah, the scheme they run, and in one of their own internal documents, when they talk about these kickbacks and rebates, they call it a scheme, the scheme, over 50 times in one document. So the scheme that Live Nation runs robs money from artists every single day. Then artists lose money. If I'm an artist and I lose money on a show, what are you going to do the next show? Raise your ticket prices. So the fans the fans pay for this whole entire scheme that Live Nation runs. This criminal scheme they run, the fans fund it by having to pay for the crazy ticket prices. But yeah, the artists lose so many times. Look at those, again, the NBC numbers to keep it simple. 1.5 million negative for the one show, same expenses or 100 shows, same expenses. 1.5 million negative for the artists and independent promoters for all the shows. Same exact expenses, same show. Live Nation's own books, when they fudge the numbers, positive $15 million. So that's, you choose then which artists make show, what artists can make money on which show, and which artists will survive or which one we're gonna wipe out. It's totally at their full discretion of them. There's and we're looking at, you're talking like summer artists. These are like, we're talking some of the biggest artists in the world now. What about all like mid-tier artists? They have absolutely zero power.
That's crazy, because what you're saying, and just for the audience, y'all have to really listen to this. They can change the whole perception of someone. So you can have a very successful mainstream artist or even an indie artist that's doing pretty well for themselves, and Live Nation could come in and make them seem like a complete failure if they don't do what Live Nation tells them to do.
That's crazy. This is really like if Vito Corleone could use the computer. That's what's really going on.
Yeah, and everything is their own internal documents and their own words.
Yeah, I did see some of that. I had a chance to, look through some of the information online.
They were mocking the people, laughing about them having to pay more,
Right, yeah. It kind of reminds me like some of the banksters during the housing bubble crash, right? And then they showed up at a Halloween party dressed as like homeless house owners or homeless. It was something so sadistic. You just thought it was like out of a Tales from the Crypt movie or something like that.
But also, it shoots down the whole pure competition, because the market is not allowing competition to actually live. They're getting rid of anybody or taking over anybody who can pose a threat.
Yeah.
That's why there is no competition, and competition's great, and we need it, and that's why I'm continuing what I'm doing here, for competition, for independent promoters, for artists to be able to be developed, and for the fans to stop paying $1,000 or $3,000 for a ticket for absolutely no reason, just because Live Nation wants the top executives want to buy another 5 mansions. That's really it.
Well, it is saying people are like, I saw someone, they started, it was Klarna, and then some people was like taking out loans for some of the tickets for their favorite artists. What do you think about like revenue perspective? So let's say, they say an artist, they go on tour for a year, and then they say, oh, this artist, they generated $500 million on their tour. So based on like what you're stating here and some of the information I read online, you can't really appropriately trust those books. Is that correct? Is that what you're kind of saying here? Like, even when you say, like,
well, there's 2 sets.
So all right. So you can't. Yeah, it's 2 of them, right?
I don't know what to say.
Which Bible are we using?
I know 2. There's probably more, but there's definitely 2 sets of them. So depends what book you're looking at. If it's Live Nation's internal book, you can trust that.
Right.
I guess I don't trust anything.
It's 2 books. Yeah, so artists, let's just say an artist is looking at they're like, oh, I did $400 million on tour. But then let's say like you said, one of the other books, right? You're like, nah, they actually generated $900 million or something like that. But we're going to put the front out there like, oh man, you did good. You did $300 million this tour. That is like a mafia math system.
Yeah, and as NBC reported again,
yes,
with Pulitzer Prize Gretchen Morgensen, she came out with a thing. I don't know the exact numbers, but there was an event, and through Live Nation's accounting, through their president of their New York market, he literally instructed his team, I think someone on the accounting team or whatever it was, to change the security numbers and give a certain number higher to the artist. I don't know the artist's name, I don't remember, but to the artist, make them pay higher security. Just make an analogy. Just say the security was really only $100,000. We're gonna make these aren't the numbers. I just don't remember. Let's make the artist pay $140,000. But we're only gonna pay $100,000 because it's only $100,000. That's just theft. I don't even call that 2 sets of book. I call that just going to the artist's pocket and stealing their money while they're sleeping or while they're awake. That's just wrong.
Yeah, and even Prince, what you said about a lot of fans trying to take out loans. I remember years ago, the media was mocking them, and back then nobody was bringing up why this was happening, like what Tommy is actually breaking down. And then I also think about like how has this affected your relationship with music though, Tommy? Like coming from enjoying, the rock scene, the hip hop scene, the DJing scene, the techno scene, like where's your relationship right now with music?
I love music. The only reason I'm even here talking to you is because when I was a kid, my dad was able to, he was working class, but he was able to take me to concerts. Michael Jackson, Prince, Madonna, Bon Jovi, Motley Crue, because concerts were affordable, So music, I'm probably like alive because music, I lived on my own at 16. Music made me survive. I was a big Pac fan, and I still am. But yeah, I love music. And to me, it's a shame. Like, I see there's so many artists. Like, think of how many artists, we just talked about this. Think about how many artists are amazing that you'll never hear their name because Live Nation hasn't allowed them to develop. You go pay $1,000, $3,000 for a ticket. Like you said, people take a mortgage, out to get concert tickets. Go take for your family members. Do that math. It's crazy. Can you go to a nightclub the next day? Can you go to a smaller show? Most people can't. And they kill the whole entire industry. And they've just, for them, they don't care because it's kind of crazy. But it's like, if you look at it, like I'm not calling Live Nation a drug dealer. They are a cartel. But when, if you look at a drug dealer, when they throw fentanyl in their drugs, like to kill off your customer, yeah, it's terrible. Well, if you get that much money from a customer and they can't go to a show for a few years, Live Nation's done the math and realized this works the best way for them, and this is how they make the most money. And it's just disgusting. It needs to change.
Yeah, it do, because like I even think about back when like Grateful Dead or when you had the Eagles and stuff, like people even at festivals where they used to just be able to meet their favorite artists, whether they were doing folk music, funk, whatever it was. And then now we're here where it's like people don't have the same amount of access to the music they love, and then you have the media that's connected to Live Nation. Anytime somebody even behind the scenes says something or even publicly, they assassinate that artist's character and make it look like they're not hot, they're not a hot commodity anymore, like they fell off or whatever. But this entire time they've just been lying.
Yeah, no, Tommy, you bringing up these great points, and like you stated, Sin, and I think about what you're saying here, and in conjunction with what he's saying, even on a full front, it makes sense why there's so many cynical patrons online, because if you have Live Nation eating everything up, and they're big as E Honda from Street Fighter, and then on the other side you got like streaming and subscription based platforms constantly whooping customers' asses every day. It does it murders enthusiasm.
Yeah,
it makes it feel like a Mad Max scenario, and people, like when we talk about culture and music, and like you stated, the things that got you going, Tommy, or like what Sin is bringing up here as well, or just even the things I recall people being excited about. Actually, being little, I remember somebody complaining about $100 ticket, like, oh man, are you crazy? Like they not my favorite artist like that. Yeah, I'm not, right? But I do recall one time looking into some tickets, and I think they were like $1,200, $1,500 or something crazy like that. And I just thought it was ridiculous, and I was hearing people talking about installed payments on tickets.
Well, it also makes me
things of that nature. So it does kind of create this cynical environment that we're seeing online, and sometimes in the general public too.
Well, it also makes me not be so harsh on these artists, because before, like, I was thinking like, why are y'all so like, what y'all doing? Like some people even who were making really good music, and I feel like they're overly exhausting themselves. Like, what the fuck is going on? Don't you have money? But now, now listening to what you explained here, Tommy, I'm like, oh, they're trying to keep the image so the fans can stay optimistic, but they're burning their energy out because they're really, like you said, they have Live Nation like stealing out of their piggy bank.
And that's not even dealing with the record label issue, their contract issues.
That part too, yeah.
No, Tommy, this is the reason why we wanted to speak with you because we feel you can paint a very direct, everyday man and woman conversation with this, because people see Live Nation on the screen, and most listeners, they're like, they all a part of the Illuminati. Who cares, right? Yeah, but for you, like, to even to some degree, like, your message is actually kind of humanizing, the artist perspective, where there can be this cynical divide between artists and patrons and listeners, because the artists do get blamed for a lot of this. You know what I'm saying? So like if an artist
I know I used to blame someone.
Yeah, they were like,
what the hell going on?
Yeah, like like said artist comes to a venue or an arena and their tickets are $2,000 and they were like, man, why is it $2,000? Man, I knew I never liked you, right? But it's like right. So no, what your message, your gospel that you're doing, it does humanize the experience too, and based on like how you came into the industry, you actually had a very artistic journey, and a survivor fighter story too, by the way. So I do think that's a part that's not highlighted of your message enough, that it allows a clearer lens, because people do just blame the artist. They blame the country singer. They blame the rapper, or they'll blame the DJ. Like, why are these tickets so high? When in reality, you have this entity in the room, Live Nation, that's just gouging everything.
And also trying to destroy the DJ culture, because what Tommy represents is very important. A DJ can break a new indie artist. Actually, DJ is even more important than the radio, because you don't have to worry about like the payola system that's in radio. Like a DJ can really like this indie artist, start breaking their songs in these clubs, and this person becomes a hot commodity overnight. And because of what Live Nation is doing, they're basically, it seems like what you're saying, Tommy, they want to control, they're the gatekeepers. They don't want, independent venues or DJs having an influence on what artist gets to ascend and get to have notoriety with the public. They want to control everything.
Yeah, when they wiped me back out, and that was back in 2011, their top executives said if there was an event going on, EDM, 10,000 people, they had to be involved. That's why they wiped me out. Now, it's gotten worse. They're running venues. I was just on talking to people in Dallas the other day. They're running stuff down at like the 1,000, 1,500 people clubs. So now that they monopolize, and even the few clubs that are surviving, many of them they're running. So and then they kill that exactly. And promoters, like you guys, I can tell you guys know music and understand the scene. You know what? When you have independent promoters, they're creative. You have crazy theme parties, crazy events, and then the artists get creative. You get so many different artists, so many different DJs. Exactly. Those DJs play an artist record, artist can get made. Now it's just controlled by one mafia. That's it. And the gatekeeper, they got the whole gate.
Wow. Well, you had the traction of like starting out as a kid, hosting like the concerts and moving things around. And do you feel, as it stands right now, Tommy, let's say another kid getting started, will they be able to even experience that, not the exact same journey, but the opportunity of a journey from where you started out as a kid, like with concerts and things of that nature? Do you feel like just overall how they're handling these venues, that's even killed that Sankofa journey that you would normally see with younger artists in general?
For the artists and for the independent, definitely I can speak for the independent promoters, absolutely. And that's one of the reasons that I've continued my fight and not took their money and took a payout for the music scene I love. And for I got kids. I didn't even have kids when this journey started, and they, one of my kids wants to put shows on. I'm like, you can't put on shows, man. Go to college, Well, you didn't go to college, Daddy. You lived on your own 16, yeah. But you know what? There's Live Nation and Ticketmaster now. So at this point, you can't be that promoter. You can't do it, and it's other people's kids can't do it as well either. And it's just wrong. It shouldn't be that way, and that's why I'm keep taking this all the way to expose all this information at a jury trial. Hopefully I'll get it soon. So independent promoters can thrive again. Why can't people are like, oh, independent promoters can't thrive again? Why? History repeats itself. Look what happened with Live Nation. Clear Channel got shut down via monopoly. Live Nation repeated itself, except they got way worse. The Child, like we talked about. So independent promoters can thrive, and then artists can be developed, and so many more of them will come out, and so many more of them be successful. How nice would it be, like, too, for people as a customer? You can pick a show for an artist. Like, you want to go to one because one has better production, one runs safer events, not like Live Nation that people die at, and one has better prices. You can pick and choose what you want to do. Choice is great, and right now there's no choice. And fans, as we talked about it, pay the price. And one thing I think people don't realize, like, yeah, this is only for the rich that are getting screwed. The ones that pay the price the most are the working class, because they still, music, like, it's a human right. I look at it. They still go to these concerts. They pull these mortgages. They miss rent payments to go to a show, which is crazy. And then they're in debt for, can't go to another one for a couple of years. And these are working class people. And these, it's just, it needs to change.
Yeah, the last thing I'll say on this is, like, a lot of the music that I love, and like a lot of it I heard from DJs first, like even with DJ Esco, putting out Futures music, or a lot of DJs just in general, just breaking new artists and new ground. I find it really troublesome when, you see people try to disrespect DJs. Like, I remember even when I was listening to 92.3, and there was a DJ who fused 99 Problems and One Step Closer from Linkin Park, and I was like, oh my god, this is a nice fusion. And then eventually that led to Jay-Z and Linkin Park actually collaborating together. And it's like, people forget, like, inspiration, it starts from the bottom, not the top. Yeah. Like, it's the DJs, it's the independent venues, it's the artists that, like you said, most artists come from poverty, or at the very least just middle class backgrounds. They work their asses off, they have this talent and gift, and, like, people got to remember that is where it starts. And these people who think they're so powerful, we've seen monopolies and mafias be broken apart before, and we can do it again.
Yeah, I love it. And you're absolutely right. Any artist that got that, they work so hard, and an independent promoter that made it, same thing. People look at it like, hey, you just made it. Nah, you busted your ass. You busted your ass, starved probably. I did during the way. Most have, to get there. So that's something people forget. So then when you're at these people that make it to the top, they want people to enjoy their music. They want people to enjoy their shows. They don't, so it's I don't even think it's just a money thing. I think it's passion,
Yeah. Well, that's why they're reaching into these venues with 200 people. They want all the passion to convert it into. Yeah, I mean, it's some greedy energy. I definitely would like to do a follow up with you again as your journey continues, Tommy. And I think Sid and I think we respect what you do. We think you have incredible tenacity, and you're humanizing the experience, and it's educating people too, by the way. For people that want to support you direct, or at least they want to follow you, where can they follow you at?
So TommyDJuiceEntertainment.com, and then Tommy D Primetime 1 on Twitter. That'd be great. I'm just looking for people to just spread the word and just bring awareness to this, because people need to know what's going on, because people have power. And people ask me what they can do, and they're like, should I protest them? I'm like, no, because, like, what are you gonna do? Not go to a football game, not go to a concert, not go to Disney? You can't. It's society. You can't. But what you can do is you can protest your politicians. You can go to your politicians, demand them to open investigations, demand them to stop what's going on from happening and shut down this racket. And if your politicians say, hey, I'm gonna support this, then if you care about it enough, vote them out of office. The lobbyists have a ton of money, but you know what? Fans vote. So that's my big message to the fans. Spread the message, and go to your senators, go to your congressmen, go to your state legislatures. It was just the Maine Music Alliance up in Maine, in Portland, Maine. They just showed that it can happen by this. Live Nation was trying to put in a stadium, 3,500 people stadium. All the people up there, the lobster workers, they're pissed, and they group together, the indie artists, the indie promoters, the small ones, and the working class people, and they rallied and they packed out the whole town council meeting for like the last 2 years, and they finally got it made where Live Nation can't put in the stadium, and the lobbyists are paying a lot of money up there trying to get this for Live Nation. But you got the power to vote. You can vote these people. It's the only bipartisan issue, I think, in the country. Very few. You can vote these people out of office and you can vote them in. Challenge your AGs. Look at the state AGs. A lot of them continued the case and got Live Nation found guilty for being a monopoly. To me, any of them from either party, they got my full support. I'll vote them, or I'll help go for election. I'll go knock doors. I knock doors for a living, so on cable. I'll go knock doors to help to get them elected again to a higher position. But if you're passionate about it, put pressure on your politicians. You got the power of voting, and if you actually use that and unite together, you can change this. It ain't gonna happen through me. I'm only one person. It takes a whole army, and the army's the fans.
I agree, Tommy, and thank you so much for coming to Thought Crimes. We appreciate you taking the time to join us, especially since you're doing something so important.
Well, thanks for having me, and I'm happy to be on anytime again, and thank you so much.
No problem. We appreciate you.
I got some problem. I got some problem. I got some problem. Yeah. I got some problems. I got some problems. I got some problems. Yeah. I got some problems. I got some problems. I got some problems. Yeah. Goddesses be taking me hostage on odysseys. Pardon me, I got a little bit plastic, faster than normal. Call it a ting. Hopefully this nigga will warn you. First let me warn you. I got a problem with ignorance. Tis why I burn the bridge or just swim. If it's me versus them, it's gonna be them. Cause I've learned enough to know how to win. Pride high as the tide rise. Trying to reach Pacific Rim. What lies beneath the lines then is a devil that lurks in sheepskin, who show more teeth than a wolf grin. Still got cold feet or you gon' dive in. Life's a movie, drive in. Drop top, let's begin. It could be me and you, or me, you and your friends. Now we up in the Ritz. Started off at the Days Inn steak, cheese, eggs, and grits. Some like for Tuesday, slim black sweats with some gray Timbs. Raider hoodie, Marshawn Lynch. You got an alienated, the alienation. And if it's War of the Worlds, call me Vader Zim. Y'all done alienated the alienation. And if it's the War of the Worlds, call me Vader Zim. Cause goddesses be taking me hostage on odysseys. Pardon me, I got a little bit plastic, faster than normal. Call it a tick, hopefully this liquor will warm you. First let me warn you, I got a problem with ignorance. I got a problem with ignorance. I got a problem with ignorance. I got a problem with nigga sis. I got a problem with all of that comment that swans us. Like we all just content being nigga rich. Motherfuck you with kinda ain't no fictional construct enough to uplift my physical conduct. When it still ain't fixed to do the water up and flip. My nigga, I got a problem. Yeah, yeah. I got a problem. Yeah, yeah. I got some problem. Yeah, yeah. I got a problem. Yeah, yeah. Goddesses be taking me hostage on odysseys. Pardon me, I got a little bit plastic, faster than normal. Call it a tick, hopefully this liquor will warm you. First let me warn you, I got a problem with ignorance. I got a problem with ignorance. I got a problem with ignorance. I got a problem with nigga sis. I got a problem with all of that comment that swans us. Like we all just content being nigga rich. Motherfuck you with kinda ain't no fictional construct enough to uplift my physical conduct. When it still ain't fixed to do the water up and flip. My nigga, I got a problem. Yeah, yeah. I got a problem. Yeah, yeah. I got some problem. Yeah, yeah. I got a problem. Yeah, yeah.
to this day. To this day.
You shouldn't turn your back on me.
Is that a challenge?
You either die a hero, or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
White folks are nosy. They have specials. Nosy specials. Why does a bee make honey? You ain't a bee. Why do you give a fuck?
Where's the kaboom? There was supposed to be an earth-shattering kaboom.
If he dies, he dies.
Go to our Patreon for more. And don't bother me.